Yo, yo, what's good, party people? Sometimes I feel like I'm on the radio, like, yo, yo, what's good, party people? Welcome to the show.
Hey, yeah,
What
we need
up?
that energy. We need that energy.
Right.
Yes,
We
sir.
are live, Stream Kings. What is going on, everyone? We are glad to be back, Stream Kings here. And we
Yes.
just got to say on the onset as we come for Act 4, because, I'm keeping count. This is Act 4 for us.
Yeah.
We got together with the purpose of collaborating, bringing you relevant content related to live streaming, but also the things that we just need to do to sort of win at life, I think, because as you get out there on social media and you're sharing your story, people are going to attack you. Not everybody's going to ride with you. So as we talk about tech and tips and tools for creating a live stream, we also talk about the person behind the camera, right? And so tonight we're going to have another discussion about one of those topic areas. But I just wanted to say in the onset, there's 3 of us tonight. Shout out to our other kings who are not here with us because they are obligated with crushing it in other places of the world in their lives. And
absolutely.
that's DJ Strick and Walter Jennette. So
sir.
we miss them.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Well, we know they killing it wherever they at. They crushing it. So that's good, man. I
Always.
almost couldn't be here because I had I got the stream in the Ecamm joint, but I was like, no, let me just move some stuff around. So, but I'm here.
You're good.
Yes, sir.
So you got
Yes,
something
sir.
after this, or you had something before us?
So it's just after this, but it's been scheduled for like some weeks. That's why when y'all said 7 p.m., I'm like, okay, that'll work because that's before what I got to do. So it's cool.
All right, good to go.
So
How you been? Busy?
Myself, or you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you try to stay busy, and not just an idle busy, but a productive busy. Because you can be busy out here and not accomplishing jack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
Right.
I ain't trying to be just busy out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be. Shout out to Doc. So he got a new shirt called Intent and Purpose. So I'm trying to move
Yes,
with
sir.
intent and purpose. So
purpose.
yeah, I got to get that shirt. By the way, I got on his Mod Squad shirt, but yeah, I got to get that Intent and Purpose shirt. So yeah, just staying busy, man. Staying
That's
busy.
what's up. Yeah, Doc Rock in the chats already. The Doc is in the building. Jay, how you been?
Man, been good, man. Making it do what it do.
Yeah.
To have enjoyed being with you last week and
That's
everything
right.
on as we
That was
kicked
fire.
off season 2. Yeah, man. I enjoyed
Yeah.
that, man. That was good. So just been, taking it easy, man, and just grinding on the work, man. Grinding on the vision and the goal, building this legacy.
Yeah. I feel like the Stream Kings taking over the airways. You was doing stream chats. Eliseo, you doing demo mode takeover. It's really good to see how as we support, Ecamm, which this is powered by Ecamm, this stream here, how they utilize the folks within the community. Right.
Yeah,
right.
I think that's pretty cool because
Absolutely.
you're just able to build off one another. So I think that's really good. So what we talking about tonight, man? Oh, first I will say I am doing well too.
Yeah. Let's talk about how you doing.
Right. How you doing? Right.
So I kicked off season 2 of my video podcast where he talks on cutting. That's what Jamain was talking about earlier. He was on there.
Hey.
Him and Kurt and JP High Tech, man. We had a wonderful kickoff. Gave away some items.
Hey.
Show is kicking off, man. We got some good things coming this season. Authors, poets. We got people from the Ecamm community is coming through as well. And so I always want to reach back into Ecamm and pull some folks out.
Hey,
but yes,
shout out to you for doing that, because that ain't no easy topic, or that ain't no easy niche, to go down that race niche. I wish myself that I could go more down that lane, and that's just something I'm kind of like praying on. But like the circles that I put myself in, even though I'm like heavily involved in church, and I'm heavily involved in like race issues and community issues, it's like as it relates to online, I don't put myself out there in that type of fashion because of some of the, I won't say backlash, but some of the, I won't even say alliances, but you know how like when you start going down certain paths, it's like it's not even about the economics or like the deals or the brand deals. It's not even about that. It's just about how I know me myself personally. I don't want to necessarily tag myself out the gate as a person that maybe sometimes, and this is something we can talk about here on the stream. Sometimes when you come out the gate, about the, for the people, for power for the people. When you come out the gate like that, then sometimes I've experienced where you can automatically shut yourself out. When if you just would have stayed a little more stealth or low key, just for a little bit, right, and then kind of infiltrated whatever you were trying to do, then you could have, did that one of these numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Because you don't always got to hit them over the head with it, just like with the Bible back in the day.
Right.
You got something to say, nobody wants to hear you because you're hitting them over the head with it. No, I get it.
So, but I do definitely see, me coming into something where I'm a lot more vocal about race issues and things like that. So I just want to say salute to you, because that's not, like I said, that's not an easy, niche to go down. So shout out to you, bro.
Right. And I appreciate that for sure. Yes, sir. So tonight, man, I thought we would get together. I've been seeing a lot of videos out there talking about camera equipment lately for some reason. And, get this new camera, get this camera, upgrade your camera. As folks dive into live stream, of course, you need a camera. You need to have some type of image, right? And you want it to be good. Yep. However, I see a lot of recommendations for some high-end stuff. And I thought that we could talk about how, as a person begins to get into live stream, or maybe they're already in live stream and they just haven't been able to get the quality of image that they want, we can talk about the importance of lighting, a good lighting system. And we can go into some of our tips and the techniques that we use. But even with an iPhone, and I think I've shared this before, I started out live streaming with just my iPhone, but I really went out my way, and I had a media consultant.
Newer always has a sale going on. So always. And I have my key light is one newer bicolor light, which is right here. It's just that's my key light. It's a bicolor newer light. LED panel with barn doors, right? And it comes with a remote control, this remote right here. So I can adjust the intensity while I'm live, if I'm hot or, whatever. And I bought this one for $100, right? And I just seen a sale for two of them, right? Barn doors, bicolor with the remote for $100. So I said, what? Oh, wow. So I literally just hit buy like 5 minutes ago, because I'm
send me that link when we get
off. Yeah, bro.
Now for those watching, Eliseo, you said something. You said key light. So what does that mean? We have to kind of
and I just learned all this just as live streaming came into effect. So within the last year, I just kind of learned 3-point lighting. So different people have different, like terminologies I learned, but as it relates to the key light, I take that as just your main source of light, like the main light that illuminates you 100%. So not even 100%, but mostly. And then, so that for me, that is this bicolor LED. It's actually fairly inexpensive, and I have to say that because when you get into key lights and you get into some of those what people are using, I came across the knowledge that people are paying $400, $500, $600 for their key light, and this is $100. So I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that may be laughable, but for me, my skin tone, being able to adjust the not the white balance, but like the what do they call the yellow and the white? I can adjust that right. Tungsten. Yeah, I can adjust that right with the remote. So it works out for me. It's my main source of, and I have it actually rigged up. I just did this the other day while I have my key light and my fill light. I have it rigged up with one button now. So with a push of a button, I can just hit that thing, and both my fill light and my thing light come back on. Nice. So just so now, since we're talking about that, I do want to say, just so we can kind of see what it looks like without the fill light, and we'll talk about that. I'll turn that off real quick, and we'll see how that looks. So this is how it looks without the fill light. You see how it's dark on this side? Now, some people like that moody look. I have a lot of friends who love this moody look. They love that Scarface not Scarface, but that half dark. And it's for some people,
I've seen gamers do it too. I've seen a lot of gamers kind of have that goo.
For some people's brands, it actually works. You know what I'm saying? But I like more. I don't like a flat look necessarily, but I like more of a balanced out look. So
right.
And so same thing with me. I have mine off to the side, and I have it shooting across me. So my key light is a newer SL60 with a 35-inch box, and it's shooting across me. It's still right in front of me.
Nice.
But then I do have one behind the desk, which I'll show you if we when we do some little behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, and
How
so
much is
I
that?
see the
How much is that
difference.
XL60?
I paid $130 for it.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting? I've seen many people with their key light. It hangs right above their head, shooting down. I've seen that, and I'm like, how does that work? Like, it literally hangs right above their head from the ceiling, and it shoots straight down. So it's just that, you know, I failed to mention this, but a lot of people say, you know, I guess it's the truth that your key light has to be a big source of soft light. So the bigger it is, and the softer it is, the better it is. So I mean, that's up to interpretation for what people like, of course, but I kind of see that being true.
So at the end of the day, though, you want someone, go ahead, Jamain, some type of nice big light source that is that main light, and everything else when we're talking about the key light is going to accentuate different shadows on your body, remove them, take them away, depending on where you're sitting, right? Okay. What about you, Jamain?
Yeah, it's the you know, like you said, it's all, or like Eliseo said, it's all about your preference, really, right? Because in the mood you're trying to set, the atmosphere, the environment. Like for instance, our all three of our setups are kind of more on the dark side, where you have somebody like Tom Buck that has all the light, you know, in his studio and all that type of stuff.
Too.
So dope studio. You know what I mean? So it just really depends on your preference. Like with me, I have a graphy soft box that's kind of like doing the same thing that you're doing, Charles, where it's shooting across instead of directly in front of me. Because what happens is when I do it directly in front of me, I get a lot of those hot spots. So that's why I'm actually looking at getting another light with like a dome or what have you that I can actually tone down, you know, control it and all of that. These are just the generic soft boxes that you normally get for photography and video that you see. I think I got that with the green screen, two of those with the green screen and stands and all of that. I think I paid like $110, you know, at the time or what have you. And so, you know, I always say, you know, you definitely want to upgrade your equipment once it gets to that point, but learn to work what you got, right? You know, so even knowing that the actual softbox was not soft enough, quote unquote, or what have you, I even hacked it and actually used, you know, some white material to put over it to make it even softer, or what have you. And then I have my field light over here. That's the Viltrox. The Viltrox, I think, is the T116, if I'm not mistaken, that you can tone up and down. Yeah, change the actual volume. And I'm not even using a hair light. Usually that's the third light that you use. I'm not even using a hair light because I'm, you know, kind of separated from the background because of the lighting. And so one of the techniques that I learned was to set the lighting for your background first, right? Make sure that's lit. Make sure that's lit properly, and then you light your source. So whoever that source is, then you can actually start bringing the light in and kind of setting the mood based on what you're trying to convey, right? So are you doing an infomercial? Are you doing, you know, a dramatic scene? Or do you want, you know, a dramatic conversation going on through your streams or what have you? All of that really comes into play as far as your lighting is concerned.
Nice. Eliseo, Kurt asked earlier if you're using the Godox.
No, I'm using the Cheapox. I actually so just so we're clear, I just shared the link to the ones that I bought today. I just shared the link to that, and those is two of the ones that I'm using one of right now. These are two of what I'm using one of right now, and I just got them, and my mistake is 120, so I thought it was 100, but it's 120. So but the original price is like over two, I think 220, 250 or something like that. So
yeah, Facebook's doing something weird with the link too.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, let me I'll fix that. I'll fix it. Yeah, but go ahead, brothers, while I take care of that, because somebody might want to get these lights. Let me find that.
Show softbox.
Smart lights. Yeah, I have smart lights too.
Yeah, I think all of us probably got smart lights. So this is a 35-inch softbox on it, and I had a 25.
Wow.
But I wanted to get a little bit more light to actually hit that. Yeah. Okay, it was literally just right on me. And also for some reason that one was hotter too. But this one is huge because when I have guests in the studio, then I use this to kind of light the whole studio. So that's why I got the bigger one.
That's nice.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
with the
That's
newer.
real.
And then on this other
Wow.
side is my ring light that I started with, and I know everybody's like, "Oh man, get rid of the ring light," but it just kind of give me a little light on this side. But since I started with it, I think I just kind of keep it around for the memories for the most part.
Yeah.
And then I got a little light right behind me that hits the wall, and again,
And then bounces back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that was a trick that I learned from a cinematographer as well. He's like, he's putting the light in front of me, he turned around and it hit the wall, and all of a sudden the whole room got bright, and I'm like, he's like, yeah, that's why I get paid the big bucks, because I know these things.
Right.
Yeah.
That's actually what I did with this graphic. I got it. It's kind of like pointing more towards the wall, and I got a white wall in front of me, and so it bounces back and still gives me that light, what have you, without having those harsh areas and things.
So we talked about the key light, which is that main light, and then I think, Jamain, you even went into accent lights, right? And the light. You even said your hair light. So, Eliseo, you said you have a hair light as well.
No, I don't have one.
Okay.
But I know that some people call it the hair light, or the what they call it, the back light, and some other, yeah. So I don't know. I guess I could use a hair light, I mean, and that's supposed to just shine right down on the top of your head, right? Just to kind of give you like a little separation from the background.
Separation from the background, right?
Yeah. Do you got one? You guys got one?
I don't, because you can see if you look on this shoulder here, you can kind of see that white line. So just based on the light that I already have that's bouncing off of that back line, it's kind of separating me already from the background.
I want to try that while we're live. I want to try that. I have a light right here, another panel, and y'all keep talking. I'm gonna just light it up and see if it makes a difference.
Yeah, it goes. Yeah, definitely.
I have one over here.
By the way,
go ahead.
I did put that link. The good link is in the comments. The good link for the cell I got, the newer lights.
Okay,
and that's an absolute steal in my opinion. So yeah, check that out.
You using smart lights, Jamain?
I am. Okay. So I like on my let me switch, because
I have my hair light is a Philips Hue above me, but the problem is when I don't wear a hat and I let it hit me, you can kind of see those thinning areas up there, man. So I only use it really if I have a hat on. I'll throw. Matter of fact, let me turn it on.
If I go to my wide shot, you can see like on the ground. I have those are actually I think those are like $25 RGB lights that I use and I have the remote with that you can actually set the color and all that with. But I have those on smart outlets. So I have the smart outlets that you can get. Where's that? These that you can get online. These are the Go Sounds. And so I have all of the lights there. Were not smart. I made them smart by using the Go Sound outlets. Yeah, and so now I'm able to turn them on and off. Using my Google Home network and all that, and all that. Then the other two back there, this one here behind my laptop, and this one here are the Yee lights. They're the Yee light smart lights, Wi-Fi bulbs, and as well. And so all of these are controlled. And so literally I can say, hey, Google, stop studio. Hey, Google, stop studio. And so now it turns those off and turns on my regular office lights.
Nice.
Hey, Google, start studio.
That's nice.
Yeah. And so it just makes it so easy to come in here, hit record, say start studio, hit record, and boom.
Kind of similar, man. I just hit a button. Yeah. For the different lights that I have, and I got to get voice activated like you guys. Now I'm feeling that. Hey, Mary, we calling people. Turn on the lights.
Yeah, I could do that. I do have my Alexa. I do have them controlling my auxiliary lights, but I don't have her controlling my key lights, because I just have this thing like, if something happens, I don't want, what I'm saying? I just have this thing in my head, like I don't want, if there's an electrical malfunction, that my lights just go off. So I have all my lights that are like my main facing lights. I have those manually controlled, but and that's the only reason I didn't get the Elgato. What is it? The key lights, the Elgato Airs, and all that. I didn't get those because I found out, and maybe I'm wrong, but I from what I heard, you can only control it through your Stream Deck, right? Or is that wrong? Because
the Elgato lights? No, I had them controlling by an app.
By an app, okay, but can you control it manually, like turn it on and off? Or does it have to be? Okay, good.
Yeah, there's a little power button in the back.
Okay,
sorry, James.
James, you don't activate his Google.
Yeah. You gotta whisper. You gotta whisper when you start doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Set his whole house off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody in the dark. So look like everybody using smart lights to in some way, shape, or form. Right. You don't want to have to get up and down when you're on your stream. So that's good. And then Eliseo, when you get that light,
any difference?
Yeah, turn it off.
Guess. Yeah. All right, let's turn it. So that's off. Yeah, you can definitely see it.
Yep.
Yeah, you can see it. Yeah.
So was the other way better though, in your opinion?
Let's switch back.
Yeah. Let's check it and see.
Yeah.
I actually like that.
I like it. I like it too. It seems. I think it does. It does what it's supposed to do. It separates you more from the background.
Okay.
And so now both of them are spotlighted more.
Yeah.
You're spotlighted, and the background is spotlighted more as well.
I might have to roll with this then. You know what I'm saying? Stream Kings done got me right. Got my lighting right. You know what I'm saying? I do got that shine on the forehead though. I do got that shine.
Now that's just about to say that. So then now you gotta get
make
that off. Turn it down a little bit on the left or the right.
Kirk, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
So what happens if you get on a stream, because we're talking about lights, and you don't have good lighting? Is it distracting? Is it what? Why go through all the trouble of all of these? So we talked about a 3-point lighting system, basically key light, accent lights, which like for me, my accent lights are behind the couch on my bookshelf. And then I got one of them old studio photography lights that they used to light stages with. I'm using this accent light, right? It looks nice in the room, but it also does what it needs to do in the background. But what if you're up there and you just don't have, say my lighting was like
let's everybody turn off their backlighting. Let's see how it looks.
But people hang out on this chat, or would they be like, hey, what is this? Like Tales from the Crypt or something? I don't know. I turned mine off. I don't even know if it got that bad.
Let's see.
All right, so I got no accent lights on behind me, right? Yep.
Man,
yeah, your vibe is totally different, Eliseo.
I still got the vintage lights on back there.
Yeah,
if I turn those off, I'll just look like I'm hanging out, man.
Yeah.
This don't look good. And that's what I tell my clients. They be like, oh, I don't want to do all that extra stuff. I don't want to get LEDs in the back. I'm like, listen, you ain't got to. I didn't want to, but if you're trying to transcend over into this realm, this content creation realm, this influencer realm, you just got to understand certain things come with the territory, and getting your branding, your lighting to match your branding, as far as your logos and far as like your message, that is just a part of the game, man. So, wow, that's a good idea. Let's turn.
So now if we got too much light. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll go back off. We'll go back off.
Mine definitely looks boring.
Let's turn off our actual like lighting and see how it, because you have your room, you just have your room lights on now, huh, Charles?
I got my key light and my field on.
I got my field light on.
Alexa, turn on office light. So that's a good idea. Okay. All right, so now
let me turn. All right, I'm gonna turn the field light off.
So now I just got my accent light. There we go.
Man, this is just my field light on now. See how much light it doesn't even. Wow, geez, that's horrible. Now if I turn my field light off, I ain't got nothing.
So none of us are using. And I know it's probably dark, but none of us are using natural lighting, outside lights. Your windows, blinds are closed.
No,
matter of fact, I got blackout curtains.
We probably should talk about that. The difference between manufactured lighting and natural lighting. What's your preference, or why do you choose not to use any?
So with me, I have a huge window here on my right side, and I get direct sunlight. But what happens is usually around the time I may start streaming is when the sun will start setting or the sun will change directions. And so what happens is, let me put my, my other lights back
Yeah, we're
on.
sitting in the dark, black shirts in a minute.
Right. I'm like, what's this stream about?
What is this?
And so so what happens is throughout the course of the day, if you have an or overcast that comes, then you are really in trouble. Especially if you have, say for instance, I think this is like a rookie mistake where people may get, when they get a higher grade camera like a Sony or a Nikon or a Canon or what have you, and they put it on auto white balance, right? And so now the white balance is trying to compensate for all of the light that's coming in or all the light that's disappearing. And so I want to always be in control of my lighting, right? I want to be in control of my light and my light source. Yep. And so that's why I choose, like when I'm recording like studio stuff and all that, or do a live streaming, then I always use my blackout curtain. So that way I can control it. I don't have to worry about the light, if an overcast comes or a thunderstorm comes out of the way. Because here in North Carolina, the weather is crazy. It's schizophrenic, right? So
it's just like Florida. Just like Florida.
Yeah, man. It can be 85 degrees this morning, and then 2 hours later it's snowing, right? So it's like,
well, it ain't that crazy.
It ain't that in Florida, right?
I never seen
like crazy.
Yeah. I never seen snow before.
But it's crazy. Yeah. I mean, I guess it was about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. That's a perfect example. It was about 65 outside, sun shining and all that. Then all of a sudden it starts raining and hailing. I'm like, where are we getting hail from? Wow. And stuff. And so that's how the weather is. But getting back to my initial point, so you want to be able to control that. You don't want to be on the stream, and because you're dependent on all of the natural light, then all of a sudden it drops out and you go dark, like we were just doing. 0 dark.
I do the same thing. So I have blackout curtains that are actually they have the sound dampening as well to a degree, and so blackout plus the sound dampening. So it kind of helps with the acoustics as well in terms of sound treatment in my studio. And I close them. Only time I will use them is during the day if I'm want to get some light, right? And I'm not actually live streaming. That's kind of the only time I really open them. And so the plant behind me can get some sun so it can get that photosynthesis going on. But you're right. You want to be able to control how dark, how light, and bringing out your accent lights. If you have the blackout curtains, and you can really, really control the lighting inside of your studio. And I think that's what Kurt said in the comments as well. Yep.
What's up, Kurt?
Control. Yep. Blackout curtains for the win.
Yep.
Kurt hanging out. That's what's up, man. Yeah, I have blackout curtains too, but I don't use them only because I don't need to, particularly in this particular home I'm in, because the way the sun comes up and goes down is constantly kind of not facing my home. I don't use the blackout curtains, but I do have them. But it gets too depressing and gloomy in here when we got those up. So
right.
And actually, what's funny is I won't say I learned, but when I came into Ecamm and I saw people using like these type of cameras, the mirrorless cameras, DSLR cameras and stuff, when you have the lenses, right? So I got the Sigma 16mm lens. What I like about these that my Logitech didn't do, like my Logitech C920. The C920, they didn't like phase out light as good as like a real camera with a lens do. So I say that to say I could actually we could all, with a real camera with nice lens, we can have our window wide open in the back. And the lens still know how to compensate with the autofocus to blur that out and still focus on your face. I kind of learned that from like Keith Pelzer. I would see him like do live streams and with his window wide open in the back. I'm like, how does he do that? And I'm like, I tried it. And I'm like, okay, it's the lens and it works better. Now you try that with a C920 and you're just gonna have all kind of noise in your shot. Like it's gonna be blocking you out. And so so I learned technically we don't necessarily need blackout lights. The higher you upgrade your equipment, the less you kind of do little stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Well, Walt was
the
talking
glass
about
is everything.
ISO and
right.
So that's good, man. Awesome.
I know we was.
Go ahead, brother.
Go ahead, brother. No, go ahead, brother.
I think sometimes I've seen also folks with too much light on them. And Eliseo, you said it earlier, some of the, like your cheeks being, having those spotlights on you. Now that's when you're getting kind of really into it, right? Like for the average person, they might not think about that, or it might not be an issue. But as you get, more knowledge into it, then some of that stuff even come into play, creating the shadows and the lights on your cheeks and your forehead. All of that, to me, aesthetics when somebody's watching you, or if you got too much light, right? It just, it's not good.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
Yeah. I mean, it could be distracting. I mean, even with shadows, sometimes you're using them for that dramatic effect, but then other times they can be very distracting. It's like, okay, you're trying to really get somebody to move towards this way, that shadow automatically draws them there. They're like, well, that's really real black on that side. Why is it so dark on that side? And so now, they're distracted from the content you may be sharing or whatever the purpose is for your live stream. And so it's you really got to strike that balance, and the way that you do that is you just practice. There's countless times where I just come in here and I actually will have my wife come in and I'll have her move the light source to see, okay, what's the best angle pointing on me doesn't have me looking all washed out and all this type stuff without having to reset my camera, right? And going that route. What's the best way to do that? What's the best angles of the lighting coming, with the actual lighting in the back and all that? Even at the lighting that we have, the smart lighting back there, should I run it at 100% brightness, or should I bring them down, and that type of thing? And then of course the colors of your walls, all of that matters as well. So like with this blue, I was saying last week with the blue, I have to go opposite colors when I'm trying to find the colors because of the color wheel, the color chart and all of that. And so somebody that's new, if they just went in and just painted their walls black or not, or whatever the case may be, and they're wondering why they can't get the colors popping, like, with the green, like where Eliseo got in the background or some of these others. And they're like, why can't I get that? It's because you didn't really study the colors and understand how the colors will translate on video. So I think that's real key as well.
Nice.
Yeah, I like what I think Doc just painted his office to make it more like neutral, so he can have more control over like his background color and stuff like that. So I've seen a lot of people that go with like a neutral gray or like a different type of color to where it soaks up the neons a lot better. So me particularly, the way mine is set up, this is just a closet behind me. So it's
that's a closet.
White. Yeah, that's a closet behind me. Yeah. So
I was just going to ask you about your green lighting that you're doing back there. Let the folks know what you got going on back there.
It's this right here. So it's just a cheap, it's $20. Yeah, $20 on Amazon, right? So without that, as you see, there's nothing in the background. So I just have this. I used to have it on the floor, but the reason why I stopped having it on the floor was it would cast a shadow instead of cast a color. It's just casting shadow. So I just said, let me hang it on the back of my chair. And then it's not casting nothing off the ground it's just casting straight to the back wall, and it gives me more of a color. So these are, I'll drop the link in the chat too. These are $20 on Amazon, and I love them. They're made for outside. So people use these to cast like a color on their house. But I said, let me try it in my house. So it's perfect indoors. So I love them.
Right.
Nice. And you hanging on the back of your chair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just the way I have my chair set up, it's like a little hook on the back, and I just hang it right on the back of my chair. Yeah.
Boom.
So that's the thing. That's the thing. Like,
hacks.
I think that I know. When I came into this space, I was so busy trying to emulate other people's setup. That's where I was getting so frustrated. Like one of my just like mentors as far as streaming is Marshall Fox, and I will always look at his setup and be like, oh man, I gotta. But I couldn't figure it. I couldn't. The lighting was always off. I couldn't look right, and I was frustrated for about 3 months, and then I just had like an epiphany, bro. Like, your space is different, right? And that's what I would tell. I would tell everybody that when you started getting into buying gear, lights, cameras, all this stuff, you better for sure assess your space, because the space will dictate everything. And so you can literally go out and get what everybody else is getting and be like, why it don't look right? Why it don't look the same? Because there's a different amount of space between your wall and their wall, and the depth ain't the same, and the dimensions aren't the same. So therefore the light is bouncing different, and the sound is bouncing different. Everything is different. So when I just kind of like blocked out everybody else's setup and then focused on my setup solely, that's when everything started coming together, and I started like DIY, like putting little things together, and then I was like started getting happy with my setup. So yeah, don't get caught up in looking at everybody else's setup, because if you don't have the exact room they have, it's going to be different.
Right, that's a good point, man. And even, you know, I think even our setups they're really an evolution like we are, right? And so, you know, how we were 20 years ago is not the same people we are today. And so your setup, I think, will evolve over time as well. I know, like with me, my background was producer music, you know, minister music, a writer, songwriter, and all that. But then when I went into pastoralship, you know, with this office, like this is it's about 10 by 13 bedroom that we had. So it was a pretty nice sized bedroom that I converted into the office. And so even when I was thinking about my space and knowing I was going to be doing video and live streaming and all that, but this is also my office, right? So this is where I study the Word of God and prepare my messages and all that. And so I wanted to have, you know, and so I wanted to have a kind of cohesive space, right, where I didn't just to go outlandish in one way, but say, okay, how can I have it combined? And this is just, you know, like the second iteration. I got a whole nother iteration that's going to be coming that I'm even thinking out and planning out now for my background and my setup and things of that nature. And so it's, you know, you don't have to, the way you start out is not how you have to finish. You know, it's pretty much what I'm saying in a nutshell. Just look at really evolving that, even with your resources. You may not have the finances to you know, be like Charles and do a whole overhaul of your studio, or do, you know, some of the other things, but just piece it together. You know, save your funds and put it aside and say, okay, I'm going to do this. I used the C920 for years, but I perfected that bad boy to the point where people thought I had a mirrorless or a DSLR camera. It's like, no, I literally I had to go and I did a video. It's one of the most popular videos I have. I did a video on how to make your C920 look like a DSLR, right? Because I went in there and perfected those actual settings and stuff, right? But then once, you know, I got my coins right, I said, okay, now it's time to up level. And so I went and got that Sony. Come on, shout out to the Sony crew. Shout out to the Sony crew. When he got, you know, my Sony A6100, and you know, and of course the glass, you know, getting that Sigma rubes. Oh my God, Sigma rubes. But you can literally, it's crazy because even with the quality that I was able to kind of maximize from the C920, when I upgraded to the A6100, it totally changed the whole look and feel of my studio. I mean, from the colors, everything went to a whole nother level, and people saw it. They see the clarity. So, you know, people that say, well, it doesn't matter. You know, it does matter. It does matter. Just from me upgrading the camera and going live, I've been able to get other clients because they're like, yo, I want what you got. I want that look and that feel that you have, you know. And so it does matter, but, you know, start where you are and then, you know, progress as you go on.
Man, I think both of you guys said something so huge, and it's clutch. And if folks can hear it and catch it, I feel like sometimes you have, say, in your hand a square and you're looking at somebody else's circle, and you're trying to make your square look like their circle. And then you're trying to fit stuff into your square that they got in their circle. And the reason it just won't work like that. And I
break it down for a kindergarten.
Was watching those videos out there on YouTube, you know, Marshall Fox, and you get the inspiration. Yes, let it inspire you, get tips and tricks, but then you have to go back to your space, what you are working with. And once I did that, honestly,
that's when reality sets in. When you turn the TV off and YouTube off, and then you look around and be like, well, yeah, it don't look quite like that. That's when reality sets in, and you humble yourself and figure it out.
Right. Let me start again.
Yeah, but once I, like we said earlier, looked at the space that I was going to be operating in and how I can use. I took furniture like from my garage. I took furniture that I had in stores that I was getting ready to get rid of and sell, and, you know, started piecing together my studio in that manner. And then I did a little reveal of it, and everybody was responding, talking about how nice it was. But when I was trying to like fabricate somebody else's space, you know, it wasn't working right. And it didn't even resonate, I think, with my brand and my message. And but the moment I kind of settled into my own space and my own look and my own vibe, because I work here, work from home, I stream here, I hang out in here with my wife and we watch, catch up on Netflix. And so I really wanted a space that I could do all of that in. And I also treated my room because I'm recording podcasts.
Right.
But I noticed that, and Doc said it, learning the colors. And one way I actually learned the colors, if you have the Philips Hue, if anybody's using Philips Hue, they have some preset scenes, right? Where you just hit the button and it'll change the scenes behind you, like energetic, Sierra, golden, fancy, whatever. But what I started to do, I noticed the colors that they were like pairing together and how they work together. And then also when I was doing design work on my website and stuff, designers would ask me about what's my color palette. And so learning about color palette, I brought that all over into the colors with the studio. Now tonight, because it was Stream Kings and I know our colors is the purple and gold, that royalty purple and gold. Then I threw on, like mostly purple lights with a little bit of blue and then some gold to match those overlays and stuff. So then that's now taking it to another level when you got Philips lights and you can change the colors around. But like, I'm saying all this to say, just matching it with your setting, your brand, your message, your overlays, your stream, the thumbnails. I even try and make my thumbnails that go out match, and just everything is consistent. So no matter what I share, whether it's on my Instagram, YouTube, all of my kind of colors and my lighting and all of that is the same. And I think that if we can settle into that, we'll be okay when it comes to lighting. So
yeah, that's a good point about
I had to change my lights back to match y'all's then.
Yeah, that's because one of the other things too, when you were mentioning your thumbnails and things, I think that's really important. And that's one of the other reasons why you want to have kind of like a dynamic color effect or branding, because when you create those thumbnails and say, for instance, you take the thumbnails and you use your camera to film yourself in a certain environment or what have you, now those pop out, right? When you're on YouTube, because of your colors and the popping, your colors popping out, your lighting and all that. When you do those thumbnails, it makes it a lot easier versus having a very dark thumbnail and you trying to manipulate it and all this. And so having those colors and understanding that all of that really matters. Everything in your studio matters, man, especially with lighting and the accent coloring and whatnot. And you don't even have to have a lot, right? Just like Eliseo was just showing you, he got that one light that shines to, from his chair to the back of his set. And we would have never known that. Right, we would have thought it might be multiple lights.
Yeah,
what have you,
I did too. I thought he had something in that corner back there hitting the wall.
Yeah, I thought it exactly.
And you said one light. I thought it was a series of lights.
Oh no! It's just one light. I had to turn it purple so we can all be matching. Yeah, it's one light, man. Right. It's just made for outside, so it's like it's known to like project, and it's only $20. So you can go get that thing. Right. It's $20. But yeah, I totally agree, man. So I like that purple. I never used a purple before, man. I like that.
Yeah,
because you
see the crazy thing, and this is gonna be a prime example. You see how on camera it looks like it's a purple coming off of that blue, but that's actually a pink. That's actually a pink shining on that blue. You know what I mean?
Same thing. I put it on purple and it looked like blue, and I said, "Well, that looks like blue on the camera." So I went and put it on pink, and now the pink is purple. So
So that's why it's good to play around with those color combinations and learn your color psychology and stuff.
Yeah, but I'm in pink too.
I wanted to show y'all my C920 joint. Boy, that thing, but woo, hey!
Oh my God!
Started from the bottom, now we here. You know what I'm saying? See, it's all extra overexposed. Let me go ahead and see it. I was on 100% because I use my Sigma 16. I keep it on a 100 ISO, so it needs to. I can let a lot more light in. But with this, since it can't compensate for that, it just overexposes me. So I have to turn my key light down to 10%. I went from 100% to 10%, and I'm still overexposed. Look at that. Still overexposed. Now, if I go back to my
C920. Yeah, you still have yours hooked up as well?
I don't have it hooked up.
Mine is overhead now.
I retired it. I think I'm gonna bring it out. I might use that as a third camera when I think about it.
I use mine for overhead.
I can use that as my corner camera or whatever.
I think Steve Worthy, right? He was using one in a corner one time. I saw him playing around with something. Steve, is that correct? Let me know in the chat. I think I seen him using a webcam like back up in the corner one time on one of his feeds.
Okay.
Yeah, I try to keep and see how dark I am now, but now I have to turn this back up to 100%, and then I'm good to go. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I keep my C920 hooked up for that reason. Like, so when people tell me I'm being extra, or people tell me it's not that serious, and then I just say, "Oh, okay, well then let me show you what it looks
You
like."
have any other cameras that show your setup behind you, or your lighting, where your lights are placed?
Well, I could take the C920 off and show you. But I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like my whole setup, if people, and I say this all the time, if people were to actually come in my room and see my setup, they would be like, "This is some ghetto rig stuff." I have everything rigged. I'm no cap,
You mean
bro.
innovative? It's some innovative stuff, is what we
we'll
say.
call it that. We'll call it that. Like, say, that's my key light right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's my key light. This is a piece of gear that I bought that I never use. So don't get gas, y'all.
Teleprompter.
I have a teleprompter with the.
It's gonna be there right when you need it, man. Don't worry.
You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be there when I need it.
When you need it. That's how I feel about some purchases.
This is where my Rodecaster Pro was, but it died on me.
Oh, that's right. It's getting replaced though.
Yeah, I got it in the box there. So yeah, but no, yeah. I mean, if we want to just take a look, if you want to see the levels of rigging, so yeah, that's my wife's side of the office. So just so y'all know, I still live in the hood. So I ain't ashamed to say that I still literally live in the hood. So outside these walls is the war zone. But yeah, so this is a shelf that I got off the garbage pile, and I saw it on the garbage pile, and I said, this is the perfect, like, because I wanted to buy one, but everything was too tall. Or it was too wide, and I was driving down the street, seeing this on the garbage pile, and I said, "This is the perfect length and everything." So now I keep my books on it. I keep my Rodecaster Pro box just for decoration, and yeah, and then that's the closet back there. So I keep some soundproofing on the closet. I keep this little stand with some fake plants on it. This is a mess right here. All this is a hot mess, so that's an old printer that I don't use. I literally just use that old printer to prop up this TV.
Prop it up.
Okay.
And this is just a bunch of stuff, man. My logo that Doc got for me. I make beats, so that's my little keyboard I make beats with. And yeah, just going back all the way around.
And so you got 3, 1, 2, 3. Yep. I see all the lights. And then what's that hanging overhead? Is that where you had your? Okay.
So yeah, this is my first camera that I got before I went DSLR. I went to this camera, and that is a what is this? It's a cheap Canon Vixia, like Vixia joint, yeah. So let me see if I can actually go. Oh, I'm the guest in this, so let me just go to my Black Magic. I have a A10, so that's that shot right there. Yeah,
gotcha. So you're overhead.
I have the A10 Mini Pro that I never use, and the Stream Deck that I'm gonna try to start using. So yeah, so let me just go back here. Go back to me. I know they like, man, if you don't get this junk off this.
No, man, it's learning. That's what we. That's why we do what we do. Because I'm telling you, I think the majority of the time people think that the whole studio is like picture perfect, but sometimes you have to rig some lights and some cameras in places, and
you got the hang stuff. But you know what? I've worked on sets for like music videos and other stuff. The pros do the same thing. When they don't have something that they need, they make it, right? When they need a certain view or a certain angle, they'll hang it how they need to hang it, and they be like, "Oh, that's genius! How'd you get that side? Oh, I just hung it off a ceiling fan." Oh, right. Okay. It's like
improvise.
How'd you get
innovate.
that circular shot right there? It's like, so yeah, man.
What you were going to say, Jamain?
No, I was saying, yeah, I've seen that done as well.
Oh, okay.
Where you have to improvise and come up even with my light. Matter of fact, I can kind of show y'all right quick that piece of the setup on my iPhone, so you can see it here, the light. And so I actually created that little felt thing that actually came from the bed linings that you put under the bottom.
Oh, that's
on top. Yeah. So we had an old one. We had an old we wasn't using anymore, so I actually cut that out.
You can make them full screen.
You know what? I don't even think I set up scenes.
Okay. Yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then you got the
actually
have my
No, I didn't set up an individual one.
Okay. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah. So kind of same with Eliseo, with the Stream Deck Rodecaster Pro camera here. And here I usually have my overhead, which is what I got my iPhone now that I'm using for my overhead camera. My old iPhone, I got the new iPhone. So my old one, I was going to sell it. I was like, you know what? Let me just keep this used as another camera, right? And everything. And so I got that. And so I use that.
How do you connect? How do you connect the camera? I mean, the phone. Are you using Epoch Cam?
So So I'm using the Shoot app.
Okay.
So that gives you the clean. It gives you the clean out. And I have it connected right now with the lightning cable. So what have you. And then, so MacBook Pro. And then I have the, my field light there. That's that Voltrex T116. And then back here, as you can see, I'm going to get another bookcase to put up here in a corner piece. But back there, that's my music setup for a lot of my pre-production stuff and all that.
You got two lights bouncing off the wall?
Yep, 2 lights bouncing off the wall. Then I got the other light here in the corners.
And those were the Yi lights, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, those are the Yi lights. I'm on the corner, so yeah.
Nice.
Sweet.
And them lights.
We got all into it, man.
Yes,
now that we talked about the physical lights, let's talk about these spiritual lights.
Come on, let's give him a little break.
Tune me up, Doc.
What you want, E flat? I gotta go grab Keith Pelzer for that.
Oh yeah,
take me up in E. Take me up in E.
Man, I'm determined. I'm gonna get me some trigger hoops on my live stream. I don't care.
I should have had them. I should have had them set up my hoop triggers. I got my hoop triggers.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put it on my Rodecaster Pro. I'm gonna just, as soon as I feel the spirit, I'm just gonna when it quickens me, I'm just gonna go in and I start hitting my hoop triggers. Boy.
DJ Strick said, "Go in,
go in."
No, that's funny. No, I know. When we talked in the chat, we were talking about how physical lights, and then
absolutely
right.
One thing about our stream, one thing about our collaboration. We don't want to just talk about the content that's going out, but we like to talk about the person that's creating the content. And we thought about the correlation between lighting a room for your live stream, but then also how the life that we live in front of the camera should match. I mean, behind the camera should match what's in front of the camera, right? And so we wanted to talk a little bit about character, because sometimes we can get on these airways and believe it or not, folks, we can turn into a different person, right, on camera.
Right.
Talking this way, behaving this way, subject matter expert this, I got it all together, and kind of give off this persona that, everything is golden, but then, off camera. And we've seen it said about certain producers and actors like, if you get to work with him, he's this and he's that, kind of a raging bull around the studio, or, he's very misogynist or demeaning or whatever. But I just think it's important that your character, because you can get into some spaces, have success, but if you don't have a good character, then you can lose what you've built sometimes, making the wrong decisions, bad decisions, and stuff like that. So yeah, let's get into that a little bit, man.
You lead it off, Charles. You lead it off.
Yeah, I think one of the first things that I did want to say is, for me, my biggest thing is, the biggest compliment I think I've gotten from my wife is she says that who I am in church, or who I am in the community, who I am at work, what I talk about on live streams in terms of helping people, connecting with people, what I share about race, and then when I'm in the home with my wife and with my boys and just around close family, she said that I'm the same way. Like my principles, my values, none of those things change. And that's what she admires most about me. And so I think sometimes, again, and just unless you like a comedian or something, and that's what your live stream is about, I've seen the most powerful live streamers are those whose personalities really come out, and they are them authentic selves. Like we were talking about being in your own space and having your square, not trying to put in somebody's circle. Right. But when you can just really be yourself and stay true to yourself, not try to be like somebody else, sound like somebody else, I think that's part of having good character, because who you are is based on your morals, your values, and your convictions, things that come out of your mouth. Hopefully you really believe it and you stand by it, because you can't promise people stuff, especially if you're trying to sell something, you offering a course, or you're saying, hey, come learn from me. And then you can't back it up with good practices and a good character. then you get exposed. And next thing you know, you got people saying, hey, don't work with Charles because what he was saying, and he just Googled that off, off of WikiLeaks or something, or Wikipedia, so I think that's important for me.
I literally just saw a post where a lady was like, this lady went on Clubhouse and was talking about her course, and she was charging people $300 or $400 for the course, or $500, and she sold all these courses and said, hey, the course was coming, and she was making pre-orders and pre-sales, and she ain't made no course and then delivered on no course yet. And she sold all these courses to all these people. Now they looking for her. So yeah, man, do your research before you go, spending money with some of these people, because it's easy. Kind of like computer, like how you reboot the computer, and when you reboot it, you refresh, and it's like it's a new. That's how some people treat their life. They treat their life like online, like it's just a reboot. Like, okay, well, I'm tired. I done got all I can get out of this circle, right? I done got all I can get out of this community, out of these people. So now let me turn my computer off, let me reboot it, and let me go start another page or another social media account over here, and now let me infiltrate this community, right?
Wow.
And get all I can get out of them. So it's people who literally do that. They just go from community to community, getting all they can get out of people. So if you don't do your due diligence or do your research, man, you can feed into these people, man. And I love what you said about your wife saying you're the same, and no matter where you are, who you're dealing with, you're the same. And I think that can translate over to me, Jamain, most guys, most real guys. Not, don't get me wrong. I remember there was a time when guys was like flip-flopping like flip-flops. And you're like, well, you were just talking this talk. Now you talking this talk. And now you doing this and doing this. But, that's when you're younger, right? Because I think people, when they're younger, they're trying to find themselves. They're trying to understand who they really are. They're trying to really figure out, their role in life. So they, some people, not me, but some people, they can do a lot of flip-flopping and do a lot of double talking and things like that. But as they naturally progress, the natural progression is as you get older, more mature, wiser, you should be doing less and less of that. So now at this stage in the game, I'm be 40 next year. There's no, if I don't know by now,
hey, 40.
I'm just saying, like,
so tell us, who is Eliseo way? You should know. But
we're at that stage now that we shouldn't be doing too much flip flopping. Like your message, your morals, your values, your standards, that should be universal across the board at this game. But I think what your wife said about you, I know my wife has said that about me. I'm sure Jamain's wife has said that about him, because you can't be that person that's like one person to somebody and then a different person to somebody else. Now, I understand the Bible says be all things to all men, but that don't take that out of context and be flip flopping. That just means to be able to relate to who you can, try to relate to, people, where they're at, that don't mean I'm a liar over here. I'm a cheater over here. I'm a godly man over here. I'm a cheater over there. I'm a sucker over here. I'm a pimp over here. But then I'm a godly man. Like, no, that don't mean be all things to all men in that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
What you got, Jamain?
Yeah, even going back to what you were talking about, and Eliseo mentioned this as well, about just being authentically you. There. What we fail to realize a lot of times is that there are people that are assigned to your voice. People that I could go and say something to them and it doesn't resonate with them, but Eliseo can go, or Charles can go, or Walt can go, or DJ Strick can go, and it will resonate like that. Why? Because I was assigned, or those individuals were assigned to that particular person's voice. And so when you're not being authentically you are not sharing something that God has innately placed in you in order to feed into what that individual needs, right? The actual needs that individual has. God has already placed it inside of you and says, okay, your voice is who they need to hear. You have the knowledge, the content that you need to share. And so many times we take on the voice of those that we've been following. Right. We have been following these influencers, like Eliseo saying, we'll be following these people and all of that. And so a lot of people will try to be those individuals. They try to emulate them. They try to replicate what they're doing and how they're doing it and all of that. And you get to a point where you're no longer you, and you're wondering why it's not working, why you're not winning the battle. Let's talk about David. And David was geared to go kill Goliath, right? And Saul offered him his armor. David was like, no, it doesn't fit me. I want to wear the armor that I have, that I know that works in this situation. And so we've got to be the same way. You are good enough. I think I need to let people know that you're good enough. You know, sometimes we look at other people and their followings. We look at, you know, those that got 10,000 followers or 20,000 or a million followers on YouTube. And you're like, okay, I'm going to duplicate everything they're doing. No, we have a terminology we use in the internet marketing industry called funnel hacking. And so what that means is we look at what they're doing, how they're doing it, how they're utilizing it in their actual business. And then we say, okay, how can we apply that? Not what they're doing, not the same copy, not the same product, anything like that. We say, okay, what are the methods, the techniques and things that they're using? How do we apply that to our own voice, to our own messaging, to our own products and services, and still utilize? Because success leaves clues, right? Yep. And so what made them successful? Let's take those clues and apply those to our lives. But many times we miss out on what we have been destined to do and really being successful because we're trying to be somebody else.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Drop it.
I love what you said about success leaves clues, and I have this thing where I say,
"Bring the substance."
Who was that? Was that?
Hello with the drop.
Was that? Who was that?
That was me.
Oh, that was you. That's what's up. Did you get that from my guy?
I did.
Oh, okay.
It sounds like the same dude.
Yeah. Oh, that's what's up. Yeah, he's down in Miami, so he's a Florida boy too.
All right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, what I was going to say, I love what you said about success leaves clues, and I have this analogy that I use. See, success leaves clues, and that analogy came out when people was just basically reading books. You know what I'm saying? Like success has been leaving clues since people have been reading books. Now let's take it up to the age of the internet, right? So success was leaving clues 50 years ago when people was reading books. At this stage in the game, when you can literally information at the information age, when you have information, whatever you want to know at your fingertips, when you can reverse engineer anything you want to learn, you can just go and look at it and reverse engineer it and backtrack your way to success. I say now success leaves whole dinner plates. It don't leave crumbs and it don't leave clues. It leaves the answers. It leaves dinner plates. It leaves whole feasts. If you see somebody, that's why I get kind of aggravated when I see somebody who gets mad or jealous when somebody makes it or when somebody is successful. Do you know how encouraging it is when I see somebody make it and is successful? Not an ounce of hate or jealousy comes up, because that's God telling me that now it is possible. Right now, here is a proof. It's proof that it can be done, and I'm not no respecter of no man, so you can do that too, right? So go make it happen. So it just encourages me when I see people out here getting it, being successful. But for other people to be like, who they think they is? Well, you ain't never gonna make it, bro. Like you say, success don't leave clues anymore. Success leaves dinner plates, feasts. It leaves a whole buffet of information that if you want to take the time and humble yourself and learn and get in your skull and implement, you can have the same amount of success, if not better. So I love that.
I learned earlier that your gifts and your talents will take you to new heights, right? But it's your character that's going to keep you there. Yeah. Because if you don't, when it's time to make a certain decision and you don't have any type of character, you don't have any type of moral convictions, you'll shortchange people, you'll shortchange your product, you'll take the easy route, you will get into some unethical stuff to just to make it or keep the success. But when you have that good character, then you can hold to the convictions, and then you'll be able to make it through whatever it is that you thought about cheating your way through, and you'll see that it'll all work out in the end. And so, man, I think that's huge, not to go into anything, right, without just worrying about the success and worrying about the content. Because even with the journey, I think the journey that we go on to become a successful live streamer, it's about the development of the individual. Because I don't think life is necessarily just about what you get to achieve and what you get to do and the impact you make on others. It's also about who you become in the process, what you learn about yourself and who you become in the process. So I think that's equally as important. But I'm sorry, Eliseo, I think you was about to say something, bro.
No, I think that was absolutely good. That's absolutely true. I love it, man. Love it, my brothers.
All right, man. So remind them one more time, go through the rundown of the 3-point lighting that we talked about I'm jumping in the chat to make sure we don't have any questions on YouTube and Facebook. We get ready to land this plane.
Yeah, so I mean, I know with me, I have a main key light, I have a field light, and now thanks to you brothers, I'm going to be implementing this nice, I guess, hair light. What they call it? What's the other word they use for it?
Backlight.
Backlight, yeah, hair light. So I have those three. I think it was pretty cool how we all turned off of our practical lights and our color lights, and everybody's set dramatically changed, the mood changed. The vibe change. I think if anything, anybody who goes back and sees this, that's definitely important. Lighting is definitely important because it can make or break what you're doing. I learned too with lighting. If you have bad lighting, it's hard for your camera to autofocus on you too. So that's one clue that I know my lighting needs to get. Like if I'm working on a different scene or set, and I see that my camera is having a hard time autofocusing on my face, then that's like a clue to me. Like, oh. Yeah, it's like my camera telling me, bro, tighten up on your lighting, bro. It ain't there yet, my brother. It ain't there yet. So then, as soon as I dial my lighting in perfectly, then my autofocus is always super sharp, super fast. So that could be a clue for anybody. If your camera is having and I do get that sometimes in the eCam community, I've seen people post like, well, why is the camera not focusing on my face? But they don't have a strong key light. They're using the light in the room.
Light in the back. It's pulling the light in the back sometimes, right?
Exactly, because the camera focuses on the brightest thing in the shot, the scene. So sometimes the people are just using their room light. They're just using their regular light in the room. But I always tell them, you can keep those lights on if you want, but you also have to put a light right. I remember before I had any of these lights, I would take my wife's lamp. She had a lamp that had like a little gooseneck thing. And I would take that lamp, and it was easy to manipulate where the light would point. So I would just clip it right on my little desk, and I would point the light right on my face. And it was perfect. It gave me enough light for the autofocus and everything to work. So, yeah. Go ahead, Jamain.
Yeah. No, you hit it all on the nail, hit the nail on the head. The other thing, too, I don't think we talked about it, but even with your camera and your lens, making sure that, you have the proper light for the f-stop that you have on your lens or what have you. Because the lower, the more light that comes in. But if you have a bigger f-stop, you need to make sure that you lit the right way, or that picture could be very dark or what have you. And so, that's why it's important to learn your equipment, learn it, go through the menus, break the menus if you have to, where your picture looks terrible, and then figure out how to put it back together again, that type thing, So that way okay, how, like Eliseo was saying, with his focus, his autofocus, he knew, okay, my lighting is not right if it's struggling to autofocus on me or what have you. And even knowing, like on the Sony cameras, knowing the different autofocus modes that they have, continuous and some of the others and things. Yeah. And so knowing all of that stuff really matters. And it really affects your lighting and all that as well.
Outstanding, gentlemen. Yeah, I think you guys hit it all. So I just want to say, man, once more, we saw DJ Strick was able to jump in, chime in a little bit.
Welcome to Team SM7B, Charles. We got to get Jamain on the team now.
Yeah, I'm headed there, brother. Yeah. I love this pod mic though, but I'm headed there, man.
I don't know.
Yeah, so I can lean into this bad boy because man, I can lean into this bad boy and bring that bass. Bring that deep in.
I got my SM7B there. Usually about $400, but I got mine for like $250 off of eBay. Yeah, like off of eBay.
What?
Yeah.
Nice. I might check eBay then.
I got a problem, man. And that's probably why my Rodecaster Pro went out on me, because I buy everything secondhand. So, but hey, if you can get certain things with a warranty, then that's just even more reason to try to get something secondhand if you can. So,
true,
right? Yeah, man.
True.
Yeah, you can ride out with the pod mic for a little bit longer, but we need all the kings. We need all the kings on the SM7.
on the SM7Bs.
Well, I don't know. I don't think Jamain gonna be the troll. I think it's Walt. I think Walt really likes his pod mic.
Walt gonna be.
He really likes his pod mic.
He gonna be the one to revoke.
Guys, this has been fun, man. Long overdue. I'm glad that we could connect. I hope those who were in the chat with us, shout out to everybody: James, Jennette, Lanita, Steve, DJ Strick, of course, Kurt, Doc Rock, Cherish. Shout out to you all who was rapping with us and hanging with us. Came to show out tonight. Wayne, Tatamy Network. We see you. James Hicks, Daniel Tatamy.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we just try to make it real simple, unscripted talk about lighting and cameras and studio and live stream, but just life as well. So this collaboration is meant to impact not just your live stream, but your life. And so, oh man, we might put that on the tag. Like this live stream is meant to not only impact your live stream, but your life. We're gonna have to work on that.
That's a shirt.
Man, y'all let us know what y'all want us to talk about next, or anything that we like to do those dual topics to where, like you say, we can talk about the natural and the physical, but also talk about the spiritual as well. So maybe we'll touch on sound.
we impact the lives and live streams. That's our next shirt. We gotta get press and sew on it.
Hey,
I
love it.
Oh man. But cool. We'll do it again next month. Appreciate you, gentlemen. All those who will hang with us, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful night, and we will see you next time. I'm Charles Jackson with Jamain Freeman, Eliseo Wade III, and honorable mentions DJ Strick and Walter Jennette signing out. Stream Kings. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.